Hi everyone, good morning. For today's presentation, my topic is why do some news outlets cover news better than the others. This is for my FYS 100 class, which is fake news. Is seeing believing? If you see a news, is it always trustable? Is every article written a good source to look at, or does it always cover the news sources news properly? We'll find that. The topic I'll be discussing today will be the dilemma of gun laws. And my first source is the Fox News, as you can see. The article is called "The House Republicans Denounce Democratic Move to Tighten Gun Laws," and it's written by Andrew O'Reilly. According to the Media Bias Fact Check, the website has mixed reviews for factual reporting and claims that Fox News is biased towards the right. The structure that the author writes in is very improper, as he writes paragraphs in 2 to 3 line or sentences, and every paragraph makes a transition without connecting to each other. So it's just like bullet points, but it's not actually bullet points. And he only argues about how guns are bad and doesn't really concentrate on the topic. And it does not cover the issue very well. That source. And for my second source, I used US News. According to the Media Bias Fact Check, US News says that it does report factual information, but they are left-center biased. US News has pretty good arguments in this topic, as it states law bills like HR 8 and HR 1112, so 1112. HR 8 and HR 1112 are bills that require citizens to go through a profile check before purchasing any firearms. And US News talks about both sides of the argument, as how banning firearms, federal arms, to fund teachers to get arms and training is good, and how there are other alternatives to it. He says that, but he does not say what the other alternatives are, so that's pretty sketchy. The US News the author in US News uses factual statements, but it also uses loaded language at the same time. The facts stated are really good, but the paragraphs don't flow well. It covers the issue very well. My other source is CNN. CNN has been called out by Donald Trump, President Donald Trump, saying that it reports fake news. In the Media Bias Fact Check, CNN has been rated mixed in factual reporting and is left biased. CNN in this article uses a clickbait title, as you can see on the slide, and it talks about a shooting incident in Illinois, where the shooter worked in a factory and killed some of his mates. The author in this article also talks about the failures in background check, as the shooter had to go through a background check before he performed before he purchased the firearms he had in possession, but Shooter passed the background check even though he had bad records like aggravated assault and a felony. So it shows, the author shows that even though there's tight laws against guns, it is still possible to get guns and other firearms. In this article we can find a lot of loaded languages, but the author also sources many important people and states factual information. He also provides evidences to back up his claims and covers the issue very well. The other source that I'm using is called the Sentinel. The Media Bias Fact Check website states that Sentinel provides high factual reporting and is least biased compared to other news sources. The author, as you can see, has an animated profile picture, and it reads, "I'm a man of words, not all of them sarcastic," which does not give a good hint about the author at all. But and he also uses derogative terms like thought in the article, which means that over there. And you can also find memes in his articles. Maybe he's doing that to keep the readers engaged because his article was pretty long, but he does a really good job at writing. So he also provides context to things he's talking about because he knows that all the readers are not on the same page and may not understand what he is talking about. He explains every information he provides in high details, uses factual information, and provides statistics, and he provides the sources where he got the statistics from, and he does a really good job at explaining the topic very well and covers the issue very well. Another source that I use is called Insider, and in this I could not find any reporting in Media Bias Fact Check. The author, as you can see in the title, uses what's instead of what is, which gives a hint that it's very informal and he's not very professional. And most of the sources that he has in the article leads to the insider itself, which is pretty bad because they're sourcing themselves and not any other reputable sources. And he uses a lot of loaded language in the article and talks about irrelevant topics after like a section of the article, like the definition of assault weapon and the number of guns in the U.S., when he should be talking about why U.S. is not adopting the gun laws in Missouri, like Missouri. And he also states that U.S. once had banned gun laws in the past, and he says that it expired, but they never renewed it. But he does not give the reasoning of why they did not renew it, and he also does not say how the statistics changed before and after the banning of guns. And the article is very unclear at times, as it does not back up its claims using evidences. It just states facts and does not explain it, does not provide context to the topics he's talking about, and also does not flow very properly. This article, written by Michelle Mark, does not cover the issue very well. And the next source I use is good old New York Times. According to the Media Bias Fact Check, it is rated as a high factual reporting news outlet and is left-center biased. This article talks about how the Supreme Court is blocking a ban on bump stocks. The writer does a very good job at providing the context to the things, because I did not know what bump stocks were before I read this article, and he explained it pretty good. So just in case you guys don't know, bump stock is a part which you attach to the gun, which makes it shoot faster. So the government does not allow rapid-fire firearms to date, and the author talks about how bump stocks make guns, like normal guns, into rapid-firing guns, and how it is a threat to public. He also talks about how banning would not solve the problem, as many people already own it, and it is hard to make everyone get rid of it. He also provides very evidence to back up the claims he makes in the articles, and uses factual evidences. He does a very good job at covering the issue. So why do some news outlets cover news better than the others? Some people will argue that well-known news sources will cover the articles better, cover the issues better than other sources, because they have to keep their brand name up and keep their customers brand loyal. But it's not very true, as you can see. You saw in my presentation that Sentinel had a sketchy author, but he did a very good job at addressing the issue. And it also depends on what the writer is interested on. If he has a good knowledge on what he's writing about, he'll write a good article. While if the writer is not very knowledgeable about the topic he's talking about, he will just state facts and not talk about how the facts affect, how this claims he makes affect others. And it also depends on how experienced the writer is. Even though some writers were successful in reporting factual information, they were not very successful in making the article sound good. That's it for my presentation. Thank you.